Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, dear listeners. This is Comeza Radio Africa, the voice of Comeza, the organization everybody wants to be associated with. The mind, the journey, the destiny. We apply our mind to the journey that takes us to our destiny. That is our philosophy. It is about a plugged and active mind, a sharing mind, futuristic mind, and inquiring mind. The journey is about enthusiastically promoting our ideas, giving as we learn, retaining and investing our learnings, and searching for new opportunities at all times. The destiny, when achieved, is revealed through productivity and profitability, social responsibility and caring for each other, ensuring growth and sustainability, and of course making sure that there is ongoing renewal and survival of our operations and enterprises. The radio station is about informing and entertaining you. We develop and educate, we empower and support, we associate and network. And that is the idea. We are a business and professional management services 24/7 internet streaming radio station. We broadcast music and talk shows. Our objective is to use the African storytelling and the Lekgotla conversation methodology in offering career coaching, education and learning guidance, continuous professional development, enterprise and entrepreneurship development, and connecting supply to demand. Our talk shows aim to affirm and support business professionals and entrepreneurs in their personal and professional journey of bringing difference to the world. My name is Sam Zimmer. I am the CEO and Executive Business Coach at Comeza GOC International. You're welcome to visit our website, www.comeza-goc.com. The principles that guide our radio station are the same principles that guide our organization, and they are win-win approach, holistic mindset, competency development, demanding accountability from all of us, ethical inclusive practice, and ensuring progressive transformation practices. You're welcome to join us by way of being an individual or corporate member at Comeza Friends and Supporters Club NPO, so that we can partner. And that can be done online at www.comezaclub.africa. And of course, you are welcome to send us email at callcenter@comeza-goc.com. Let me welcome my conversation partner for now, Ndate Boni Gantile. Is it Gantile or Gandile?
Gantile.
Gantile.
Yes.
You're going to have a lot of explaining to do, because a little bit of a German in me said it's not G, it's not G, it's not G, it's G. So it's Gandile. And being typical South Africans, the first question is, which ethnic group is that? We can't avoid that, yeah?
Gantile, I'm a closer.
Aha. Wow. It's one of the very few Xhosa say names that are very close to Sotho say names by just looking at the spelling.
Yes.
But you grew up in Gauteng, so you are everything South African, eh?
I am everything South African. I actually grew up in Durban.
Wow.
And followed up my later career in Gauteng, yes.
The roots are in the Eastern Cape, I guess.
Yes.
And you born and bred in Debs.
That's correct.
And you make a living in Gauteng.
That's correct.
Thank you, my brother. You and I, we have interacted in so many ways, and I'm not going to deny the listeners to get to know you. So today, I apologize in advance. I'm going to go deeper in really unpacking that Boni Gantile for the benefits of everybody out there.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, and let's just check in. Body, mind, spirit, are we doing well under the circumstances that we find ourselves in today?
I am fine personally, Bro Sam, and thank you for asking. You can't complain about the things that nobody's making. It's the nature that's taking its course, but thank you for asking.
Lovely. That is the attitude we must all hold towards life. Life is a gift from God, and it's Him who knows how generous He is with it. But He's not punishing; He's probably just making us realize that there are other things that maybe we are not taking care of. Yeah,
that's true.
Great stuff. Yeah, so I always start by saying that all of us have some history that make us who we are. But typically, the very first years when we are born, there's something in modern world, they call it early childhood development, which some of us never really experienced in a formal way. We just grew up with, once you are born, they give you the grannies or somebody else to look after you. And they really look after you physically, but not maybe the way today it is. I mean, if you talk to the young generation of today, they must have experienced kindergarten or crash intervention of some sort. I didn't experience that. I went straight to Dom A. How did yours happen?
I actually grew up with a single parent, which was with my mom. And of course, as you correctly say, there was no preschool or anything like that. You just went straight to school. And, you wake up and you go to school, you come back and you run the chores, and you do the homework if you are in the homework age stage. And roughly that's how it is growing up with a single parent.
Yeah. These days we definitely wanting to be intentional about it. The moment you are born, the learning must start. Yeah. So I think if we're given all those, you and I will agree, nobody will touch us. So early childhood development is one interest and focus of COMETSA as well, and I know the country is also having a policy and strategy around that, and I think we need to embrace it because it's so necessary.
Yeah, that's true. And the beauty about it is you've got more choices, the life choices that you can make. It's really up to you whether you can or not, but you are not ignorant about the choices.
Absolutely. Including, by the way, the ICTs. These days they say kids are born with laptops.
They quickly figure it out and they press this button and before you know it, they've got it figured out.
Yeah. You know that, I don't know how much you follow psychology, but Sigmund Freud, is it Sigmund Freud? It's Sigmund Freud. With his psychodynamic theory of psychology, which was sort of like contested by other later psychologists. But he said that when kids are born, one thing they're born with is the inclination to put things in their mouth. So if a baby is born and you put a laptop in his tram, in a tram or his tram, the first thing he will want to take that laptop and swallow it.
True. They actually are so used to wanting to take things and experiment, they have to put in the mouth.
Exactly. So if you want them to really have a taste of a laptop, you just put it in their tram. They will sure figure out what to do with it. That's early childhood development, and that's the attitude we must have. And Boni, let me just start by just explaining to people why were you given these names and what do they mean and who are the Gantiles and where did you grow? You said you grew up in Durban. What did you grow up doing and what are the fond memories of you growing up as a kid?
Okay. As you said, Gantiles originate from Eastern Cape originally. However, one grew up in Durban. And Boni, the full name is Boni Sile. I've never asked my mom what it means, but the literal translation, it is you have shown or either proven. I don't know what it is that I was supposed to prove.
Oh, it's like, yeah. Oh, Boni. Okay, you have seen.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know how they used to name us in African culture? There must be something that has happened around that time or some experience of some sort, and for them not to forget it, they give that as a name to their children so that they are reminded of that.
I can only guess because I had only sisters before me. There were 3 sisters before me. So most probably it was one of those things that God has proven that, there can be a man in the house as well.
I think I give you 99.9% chances of being correct. Because if you had 3 sisters before you, they were starting to say, are we ever going to see a boy? You know how the universe responds. It's so funny, the subconscious mind, how it works. It's the things that you want to run away from, it gives them to you because it doesn't know yes, right or wrong. And the things that you want to have, if you genuinely focus on those things, it gives you. So they probably had given up, we're never going to see a boy here. And the subconscious mind, we will show you. Boom.
Yeah.
And there was Boni.
That's true.
Beautiful one. I wouldn't have known if I didn't ask. So the Gantile, any meaning or what clans, which clan? Because in the Eastern Cape there are many clans. There are Tembus, all those clans. It's fascinating when I hear people talk about their clan they are from. Wow.
And they are mostly, if somebody knows the areas, they are mostly around Umtata, where they call it Wapain, but they are all over. But my parents and whatever, were actually in Deep Pondoland.
Yeah.
Quite interesting in Ngaleni.
Yeah. Boni, the Commercial Radio Africa is truly that, and you are welcome to say a few of those, what do you call it? In my language, we call it threat, or, I don't know what you call it. What do you call it? You were just started to do it, and I wanted to start ululating, but then you stop. Because that's how you define your identity. You're welcome to do so, because those who are from your area will understand, and the rest of us will follow. I give you 2 minutes to do that.
Let's pass. Let's go.
Okay, all right, lovely. And growing up in a house with your 3 sisters, how was it like?
It was actually, it was quite an interesting thing. I think one of the things is as you grow older, you get to be wise and start saying, okay, we were actually poor, but at that time, we were not ignorant of being poor. Because I guess the parents, you never slept without the food. You did not have flashy clothes or whatever. So maybe an incidence of that will happen when somebody laughs at your shoes or your shorts, that, you know what, why would they call it in Zulu? It's poopy. The English word is running out now, meaning which they are washed out somehow or other. Then there would be a thing like that, but it was life was normal. You had fun. You play with other kids. You were hungry. You have food, and of course, being raised by the single parent who was a father and a mother at the same time. So she had serious tasks as well. And you come back home. You've got to do all the household chores, and interestingly, I even knew how to cook.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll cook for the family. Sometimes the sisters will cook. Sometimes the mother will cook, But she was very strict about us going to school.
Wow.
And that was one of the things that
which is really a gift. If you have a mother, a father, or parent who values education. If you think of it now, if they didn't have that drive and push, well, what will be happening to you now?
Yeah. Also, like they use the harsh ways I think in the modern days, maybe people might not approve, but in those days, it was quite an interesting one. I remembered one boy, she bought me a plastic ball,
Yes.
and then that ball was then taken by one of the local boys, and we had to go and fight for the ball, because you can't simply go back to your parent and say, they bought you a ball and you gave it away to the same boy your size.
Yeah.
But if you look at it negatively, you think that there was an abuse. But again, I take it that it was maybe the being taught the skill to survive and be able to
Look
face
after
the
your
harsh
assets.
realities of the world.
Yeah, and look after your assets.
That's correct.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing how single mothers, it's these are some of these things we talk about it and we rationalize, and then we pretend as if we know what it takes to be a single mother, and but it's really amazing how many single mothers brought up great leaders and great people. It's not a choice of their own, but when they are found and they find themselves faced with the responsibility of bringing 2-3 children up, they just do it. I've never heard anybody sharing the techniques of being a single mother, but they just do it.
Yeah, you actually look at it, Brasem, and you get to a point where when things are tough, and then if you basically recall how it was then, and you start saying, why would I give up if she could not give up, and she made sure that we are safe?
Yeah.
And the conditions they faced in those days,
were harsh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how close are you to your siblings?
We are close. I think some of them we've lost them already through natural causes. My older sister is still alive, and then of course we ended up being 6 siblings. But out of those 6 siblings, I have got only 2 sisters left, my elder sister and my younger sister. So there's 3 of us, but we are still close.
And mommy is still around?
No, mommy passed on. It was in 2017.
I see. Oh yes, I do remember that time. I think when I did chat about it. Yeah. One of the very tough thing and humbling thing is to lay your parent to rest.
That's true.
Yeah, it's one of the. But it's also an honor to be able to do that because of what they've done in our lives. And what will you say are the values from the Gantile family that are holding on even within you right now in the way you do things?
Okay, I think it is the openness. You actually have to stand up, and if something that's happening that you don't like, you either said you don't like it, or if it doesn't feel right and you're not going to do it, and then you said, no, look, I'm not going to do it. But besides that, again, the effort to survive and keep trying. I think one of the things that one learned from there was that it doesn't matter how difficult things appear. If you believe and you want it, at least try. Because if you don't try, you may not get it. Yeah.
And I used to observe these parents. They almost it's like they've taken a resolution that we're not going to let life happen to us. We're going to make life happen.
Yeah.
Because they never complain about the weather, complain about the rain, complain about the heat. If there is something to be done for the children or for the village, they'll just do it.
Yeah. And then they will actually make sure that they hold you to your commitment as well.
Yes.
If you're supposed to be at school, you need to be at school. If you were supposed to do the schoolwork and you did not do it, it's not only a school affair, it's also a home affair.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what I like about them? They used to despise a lazy person. You know, laziness was a disgrace that no one home state would want to be associated with.
Yeah.
My grandfather used to say, "Hey, man, the way he used to say it, I will laugh. Sorry for that. For that, it's not a nice way. I won't translate it, but literally it means that you can't sleep until the sun hits you on the buttocks.
Exactly, there was also a Zulu one for that, and it used to be said to us as well.
Yeah, and then they will say that
it seems like they will sing somehow or other, be it in Limpopo or in KZN or in Eastern Cape. It seems like there was commonalities.
Absolutely, very much common stuff. In fact, into the continent, continent-wide, there is so many similarities among Africans, and I don't know how it happened. I mean, if you take the influence of drums around our rituals, our cultures, drum is something that is holy. You do things, you hit drums, we respond the same.
Yeah.
So tell me, growing up in KwaZulu-Natal, I mean, those days we used to call it Zululand. Obviously, there are politics there in terms of depending which side of the story you are coming from. But what I know about the KwaZulu-Natal and the few people that I interacted with, growing up as a boy in KwaZulu-Natal was rough. The stick fighting and all those type of things. Not rough, maybe rough is a little bit harsh, but as a boy child, you are made to be the protector of your sisters and everybody else, and you are not supposed to run away from other boys when they challenge you. You take your stick and you fight. That is the perception people have. Is that true?
Even though I didn't grow up in the rural areas, because I grew up in the township, even there, it is exactly the same. You will get some local bullies, and you also need to sort of try and establish yourself and be the defender of your siblings. And you need to go. You need to close hands and make sure that you are not harmed. So it was also even on the townships, it would happen like that. You get your sibling is sent to the shop, and there's a tsotsi by the shop, and he wants to take the money or something. And you've got to behave like, you know what, it's not going to happen with my siblings and all those things, or protect them. And in some instances, give them advice about the routes and what to do in case you are not there. That it is an experience by itself. Yeah.
Do you have some influencers, people that you see yourself through them as you grew up? In English, they'll call them mentors, or people that you aspire to, or what is the other way? People you look up to when you grow up.
You know what? I haven't picked one, Brasem, but what I've done is I've picked up the traits that I like. I picked up the traits that I liked. Some of the traits that I've liked in the people are the people that have got the capacity to listen. And I think one of those was when I was with the strategic planning division in my employer, my previous employer, Telkom.
Yes.
And the amazing calmness of I had a group executive there, Malaysian, and also the CEO at that time, Babu Sizwe Nxasan.
Yes.
The amazing calmness, and even if you've actually had, let's say you did not think about something, how they question you, how they listen and understand where you're coming from, it actually, to me, it gave this thing that says, you know what, that's how to make people grow. You don't have to begin to make people feel small or try and indicate how stupid they are because they simply did not think things the way you did. You see, so that was one of the most important leadership traits. And if you can take it to the family and to the business and emulate it, and I believe it's the great one. The other thing that I actually looked at is the fact that as I go through life is that, you know what, sometimes we grow too large for our own egos, and then you don't want to listen to people. Now, having different inputs and ideas can only make you grow.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes we get lost because we want people to listen only to our voices. And then you want to surround yourself with yes sir people. Now, if you surround yourself with those yes sir people, even if you're going towards the cliff, they're going to say, yes, you are on the right track. You know, sometimes, we all have got some ego trips, but sometimes you get trapped on that ego trip, which instead of listening, and then when you listen, you can actually open up your eyes. So diversity, you need to welcome it. So it's roughly the few traits that I pick up from there, here and there, and I've used in life, and I've seen that they really work.
Beautiful. And from your community participation growing up, anything that you pick up there, what sort of activities were those that today when you look back, you say, you know what? If I did not participate in those community activities, I wouldn't be having these insights and wisdom that I'm using today.
Yeah, I'm used to. It's true. I think as a small guy, I think I went to church, and some of the, participating there, and you get elders. Some elders will engage with you and share with you which traits are significant with you, and they sit and say, don't you want to follow this because your personality is like this? So it roughly shaped you. But again, growing around with the tough township life, one of the things that you had to learn is to basically sit and say, you need it, you need to go for it. You need to stand up, and it's not going to come easy. Yeah.
Talking about the influence of church on young people's lives, I one thing I admire about, and that's when we start having discussion of, do you have to go to church to worship your Lord, or can you do it from home? And I always say that it's not either or, but both, because if you think of it, church is one place where the dignity and the respect among the elders and the adults, the middle age and the young one, is incredible. Because these days we're struggling to find opportunities as elder adults to interact with the young ones with respect from both directions. But church manages to do that. There's youth activities, there is services that everybody participate, and that that harmony creates that interaction and influencing of each other. The old ones, they look at the young ones, they start to rationalize, they understand them, and the other way around as well. I'm glad you raised that point, that it's really very important to participate in things like church. You might not believe in God to the extent that everybody wants you to believe, but just fellowshipping and being together with other congregants, it shapes you.
It is so true, Brasem. Also the level of awareness, and I would like to believe that most churches are like that. The ability to question as well certain things, particularly where we went to church, like as a youth, because there was a church youth, we would question things that at times would be considered to be taboo. And through questioning and whatever, one got to learn more, one got to open, to have an open mind. And again, the level of social awareness and political awareness actually went through my participation in church,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And any childhood friends that are still in your books today?
Say that again?
Any childhood friends that you still have them around you today?
I think I'm more talking about the one that I outgrown, because young I was regarded as very quiet, and I grew believing that, and up until one time when I was around the Gauteng and said, you know what, quiet people like us, and then all of a sudden you heard people saying, who's quiet?
Are you referring to me?
Is that you that you're saying quiet, you know? And I said, whoa, I thought, and said, and I actually got to realize later that, I can, which is something that I could not do before. I can actually initiate a discussion with an absolute stranger, and we can talk as if, you know what, we had known each other for a long time, you know, and that's it. But I think the one trait that still sits is the determination to actually go for what I want.
Yeah, wonderful. And tell me, when you reflect on your school days and up to high school, which subjects were really, you will wake up and rush to go to that class, and which teachers really shaped you?
I actually think it was still on the higher primary where we had the teacher there that would actually, I had an English name besides Boni Gantile. My second name was McLaren, and I think that was the name that used to be known. You know, those days you had to have this middle name.
So what was it? McLaren.
McLaren.
Wow.
You know, the fastest car.
Oh my goodness. Are you named after McLaren? Unfortunately, I am Ferrari. You can't take Ferrari away from me, but I must be honest with you. We are deviating now, but I mean, it's part of a conversation. We interject here. I'm very wowed by the McLaren team. You know, they're rich. And I hope you follow Formula One, because you can't be McLaren and not follow Formula One. You know, when you go back deep into these racing companies, it's not just about the car that is on the tracks there. It's what happens in the company and the tradition that they have. And the McLaren himself, what he had vision. But anyway, I'm glad to know that you are McLaren. And though you have no choice, you have to follow the McLaren team.
No. I do, even though I don't study much, just because I also like the cars. So I actually know that they are high performance. They are the leading team. So that's the part, but I don't know the nitty-gritty.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's go back to our talk. So we were talking about your school days and the teachers who influenced you and the subject you liked. And then something reminded you of your second name, McLaren.
Second name, yeah, sorry. So I'm saying then that this teacher would actually say she used to teach us it was still the arithmetic on those days before the maths. And then, you know, like there used to be these homeworks, and of course there was punishment for not doing the homework and all that. So whilst people would basically get punished for that, and this teacher would actually say, McLaren, I want your homework book. I know you've done it, but I know you've scribbled so badly. So I'm going to punish you up until you can write something readable.
Yeah.
So I guess in order to avoid punishment, one had to learn to write almost clearly and whatever. I don't know whether I ever mastered it or not, but you have to know that is coming. Therefore, you need to write clear, because you still got punished even though you had the right answer and you done the homework.
Yeah.
So it actually then emphasized neatness and then consideration for the others that are going to read for your work. Yeah, and I think one of the other things is, I don't know maybe where the ego come in, as we said during the introduction, that we did not grow up with any career guidance or something. I remember then when I went to the high school, which was the JC at the time, and then we get in that class, and the guy says, "Okay, which line are you gonna take of study? Are you gonna take general? Are you gonna take academic A and academic B?" So I had to whisper to one of the students and said, "What's the difference?" And then the guy says, no. If you are taking general, you must do the agriculture and If you are not too strong in physics, then you can take academic B, biology, and then if you really feel strong about physics and mathematics, then you can take academic A.
Wow.
And then from that, it was more just the ego, because I did not even know how difficult the physics would be.
Yeah.
So I chose physics and said, yeah, I'm bright, I want physics.
So you followed academic A.
I followed academic A. I guess it prepared me, because I ended up then being eligible to do the technical things that I needed to do, the electrical in one point, and then telecommunications in a later stage.
So that's where your career was shaped.
Yeah.
That is the point at which your career was shaped. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Lovely. And you performed well in grade 12 matric then.
I did not do the grade 12. After that JC, I actually took a detour and went to do to study electricity. I want to be an electrical installer.
Yes.
And then that was 77 and 78. Things did not go well, so I abandoned that, and then I ended up being on the street, and then I had to go through, and I got an opportunity to then study telecommunications, and where then I ended up with a diploma in telecommunications.
Wow. We're going to come back to that in details, but just going back to your high schools, from primary to high school, just to recognize those schools that shaped you. Which primary school was it? Which secondary school was it? The names, are they still existing?
Yes, it was the primary school was Christopher Nxumalo in Chesterville, and then I went to Chesterville Secondary School. When we were on the secondary school, then I shifted I then went to Ngangelizwe High School in Tata.
You went to the Eastern Cape.
Those were the primary schools, and then when I deviated from there, then I went to Mtata Technical to do my first year in electricity. That was my N1.
Is Mtata Technical still existing?
I think they've renamed it now. I'm not sure what is the new name, but it still exists in a different name.
Yeah. And in those days, you could exceed at JC level. After JC, in those days, after junior certificate, JC, you could actually enter the world of work, no?
Yeah, you could enter the world of work. You could branch off and go to the technical college. Yeah, you could in those days.
You know, these are some of the things that they disappeared, unfortunately so. Because, I mean, if you already established at that time that your stream is technical, why do you continue doing other things that are meant for people who want to go to follow the university route?
Yeah. I think it's one of the challenges that we deal with that exist in reality today, because you could actually be, I remember, this is a deviation, at one point there was a big noise about the fact that there was going to be I think it was GET certificate or whatever, and there was such a big noise, but the scenario is, if there is a vocational leg that one can follow from that, why not?
Exactly.
Why not?
There was a very interesting development in the Limpopo area not long ago, just before 1994. There's a school in Lewa home we call J.C. van der Merwe, which is actually a technical high school. It's actually vocational. And there's a lot of motor mechanics, electricians that came out of that school. And people from that high school, they just follow their career. And then there is agricultural high school, Harry Oppenheimer Agricultural High School in the Limburg area towards Lephalale. And they used to be like, very unique and very few. But imagine if we could have 50% of our high schools, secondary high schools, doing those vocational type of courses. I mean, we wouldn't be debating around whether we have technicians and artisans or engineers or not. That will just be natural. And what is so fascinating, South Africa had all these things. And we just let them go. And we could always bring them back because we have the experience of how those used to be done. Do you agree?
We do. We do. In actual fact, it's. I think it's the time that we sit and we say what happened, because we got a stage where we said this skill is short, and then boom, the university basically has got a course.
Yes.
But the course does not necessarily mean the skill. It can give you the knowledge. You still need the skill. You apply that knowledge, eventually build the skill. So it doesn't have to be only at the higher institution. It needs to be at the appropriate institution that has been designed to deliver.
Lovely. I know we're going to come back. I know later on we're going to talk about your Supreme ICT Academy. I look forward to hear your views on that, because it looks like you detoured now into education in the ICT, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Let's hold it there. We'll take a break. When we come back, I really want us now to go into the next stage of your journey, which is really that technical route, post-high school or post-JC development that you followed. I can't wait to hear more about it. We'll be back.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor.